Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Faith Over Fear podcast. Today, I have a special friend and a real estate investor with me, Mr. Boris Sanchez.
Thank you, Mimi. I appreciate you.
Thank you. So in Houston, he is very well known for commercial real estate, and I wanted to interview him a little bit on the podcast to kind of get a little insight on what brought his faith into real estate and how he built up his business to the caliber that it's at right now. So Boris, one of my first questions is, where are you from?
I'm originally from Colombia, but
Okay.
I've been here in Texas about 27 years, so kind of a Texas boy now.
Oh, okay. So he's been adopted into the
Yes.
Houstonian community.
Very much so.
And what moved y'all to specifically Houston? Because like me, I moved first to Miami and then Houston.
I feel like everyone moves first to Miami.
Okay, good.
You know, we did too. I spent 2 years in Miami as a 11-year-old, and then we moved to Houston because my mom got a great job with a great company called Enron.
Oh, okay. Oh, I remember Enron. Okay, yeah.
Remember
okay.
Enron?
Yeah, I remember Enron. So I know you were into real estate. What kind of brought you into real estate? For example, for me, it was my mom, my brother, my whole family has been around it. I think that's a similar story with you, correct?
Yeah, actually, after Enron kind of folded, my mom decided to start a real estate firm, like pretty much right on the spot. And we were about to move to Florida, and she just kind of decided that.
Thank God.
And yeah, it was. She started off as a realtor, working for Century 21, and then she.
I remember Century 21 back in
Century
the... You remember
21
the
is still
key
around. They're
maps?
very yes. She was a master of key maps, and she started a real estate company, and then my brother joined as a mortgage loan officer. That was like the year 2000 or 2001. I joined in 2011, so 10 years
Wow.
after that.
Yeah, okay, that's same with me. So my brother did it back in 05, 04 with my mom. My mom got into real estate too, and then it kind of was a domino effect. The whole
Yeah.
family was like, now I have my sister with me, so I know your whole family does real estate. So you talked about mortgage lending. So what did you realize when did you realize you wanted to be a realtor and not a lender?
Well, so I was never really a realtor at the beginning.
Okay.
I just joined the mortgage side because by then my mom had passed, and the real estate brokerage side just kind of slowed down. But my brother kept up with the mortgage side, and now Gold Quest is known mostly for its mortgage products and commercial lending abilities.
Correct.
And I was there for about 7 years or so with my brother, helping it grow, and then I just kind of branched off and did my own thing as an investor and as a broker.
Okay, and so, what kind of inspired you? Did you say, hey, I just want to be on my own and just become independent? Like that inspiration, what kind of moment was that aha moment that you were like, I can do this, I have faith in myself, and I'm just going to branch out, and I believe in my investments, and I believe in my knowledge and everything that I've done?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So for me, it was just starting with the first one. I started with the first property. I started flipping houses at first. I didn't like that. You know, I was just like, while I was a broker, I was trying my hand at flipping houses, and it just didn't take. I didn't like that.
It's a lot of a headache, huh?
It's a lot of headache, but I just didn't like the way it was structured. It's like I have to, beautify this home, and then it just kind of, it's up to God to see how long it takes to sell. I can't rent it because, nobody wants to buy a house with a tenant in it,
Yeah.
right? And so that's when I started looking more at the commercial side. And in 2013, 2014, I bought my first property. It was an 8-unit complex while I was still doing brokerage on the side. And then it just went so well that in 2017, I said, you know what, it's time to start my own.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so how was it like? I bet you were emotional buying your first property. How did you go about finding it, and how did you go about realizing, hey, there's a niche for this? Like I can actually become really good at this and help other people make money off of this, and kind of package it to what you do now for investors is you prepare the deals for anyone that's interested. His company prepares the deals for you, and they'll package the whole loan from beginning to end for you. That way you're just coming in as an investor. Many investors are busy. They don't have the time to look into the whole project or to run numbers themselves. So when you have someone with the capacity to do that for you and the knowledge and the integrity to do that, I recommend it highly. to check out also his website. We'll go into more of that detail. But how did you know that was it for you?
I did really well in my first deal, and it turned out really well, but it was almost by accident. My first deal, I was just kind of going to see what I could do with commercial. I just honestly wanted to make $1,000 in my first deal, and I just bought an 8-unit complex, and I just rented it out, and I fixed it up, and everything was really nice. But then when I sold it, I was surprised at the valuation that it had. I bought it for $40,000. I spent $60,000 in renovations.
Try to find that nowadays.
It's 2013, yeah.
I know. I'm like, damn.
And so, so I had bought it for, and all in, I was at $200,000. And because I rented it so well, it had a valuation of $472,000. Which I didn't believe. I was just like, there's no way. I just spent $60,000. All I did was just kind of rent it. Yeah. And come to find out, I just put it on the market, and a couple of months later, I sold it for $450,000, thereby making around $250,000.
So you're like,
and so so I was just like blown away. But all this happened almost by accident. Then I started looking into exactly what I did right, which is kind of push rents and push the forced appreciation of the property.
Explain that to people, because I know that's your method.
Yeah.
He doesn't recommend the BRRRR. Don't do the BRRRR. What do you recommend? Forced appreciation.
Well, let's not get into that yet.
Let's unravel, right?
Yeah.
Keep the story going.
Keep the story going. So basically, forced appreciation is when you force the appreciation of a property instead of organically appreciate. Organic appreciation is when you beautify the kitchen, the bathrooms, and it's just kind of worth more because of it, right? But forced appreciation is when you actually push the appreciation, because commercial real estate is just like a business.
Right.
If you had a steakhouse and you bought it when it was making or it was selling 2 steaks, and you put a lot of effort and time into it, and now it sells 200 steaks a day, that business is going to be worth more. And so the same thing with commercial real estate is like, if you push the rents and if you do a good job at it, that business, that commercial real estate property will actually be worth more. You don't have to wait over time, basically. So you're just forcing it to go up. And that's exactly what I experienced in my first deal. And so I just kind of wanted to repeat it over and over and over again.
And then make it, you're like, okay, so this works. This is it.
Exactly. So I started looking back at it, studying what I did right, what I did wrong. And then I just kind of started playing with it. Bought my second, third, fourth, fifth property. And just kind of on from there. And every time I would try to scale and get more units at a time.
So what do you say, what is your favorite project?
My favorite project of all?
Yeah. I know some of them are like a headache. Some of them are easy to deal with. What was your favorite?
Well, I like to always tell the story of my first one. But if it wasn't for my first one, I guess it would be one of the biggest ones that I ever bought was my 100-unit apartment complex that I bought as a 70-unit complex for $3.6 million.
So how'd you turn it from 70 to?
Just started splitting units, which is, sometimes when I say that, people are like, wow, you can do that? Yeah, of course you can do that. Like, if you have enough space, right? And so, I started splitting units and got to 100 units. And in order to do that, obviously we had to put in a lot of money. Bought it for $3.6 million. I spent about $3 million into it. And now it probably would be worth around $11 million, And so made that equity, it jumped it by $6 million or more.
Yeah.
I forced appreciated that, right?
You basically made it happen because you're like,
yeah,
let me get 30 more units. I don't know
exactly.
how, man of genius.
It's just, honestly, it's all about my contractors. All it takes is just a little imagination and a good contractor, But that would probably be my favorite one, so far, right?
Right.
So I'm hoping to do that with bigger properties as we go on.
And I can see you doing that. I mean, everyone goes to you. You're known in the commercial real estate industry. How did you go about cultivating that team that you have? You talked about your contractors being important. I'm pretty sure you have a team around you. How did you know when was it time to delegate? When did you know, hey, I need help, I have to grow a team? For other business owners that are viewing that just want a little insight, because I know everyone thinks they can do everything, but you can't. You have to get people that are smarter than you to help you run your business as well.
Absolutely.
So what advice would you give someone?
For me, it took a lot of trial and error because I was hard-headed.
Same, I'm asking for me.
I refused to get a mentor. you know? I was just like, I was trying and trying. And I kind of thank that mentality because it helped me find different ways to do it that rather than just follow what the gurus are saying.
Correct.
Right? Do I recommend that? Yes and no. It depends on where you wanna end up. If you actually know what you want to do, follow somebody that's already doing it. Right? If you want to go to the school of hard knocks and like I did, and learn different ways to do it, come in with a fresh mind on how to solve problems, then yeah, absolutely, it's gonna be expensive. But you know, obviously, learning by doing is probably one of the best ways to learn. So it just kind of depends what your end goal is.
Damn. So did you have like a blueprint of where you wanted Sanmore Investments to go, or did it just kind of take off? Because like me being a business owner, at first you're thrown so many obstacles and challenges your way. It's amazing to see how much you've grown it to the scale it is now, because you have a whole team under you, contractors, you have employees, you have realtors underneath you, cold calling. How did you know like this was the moment to upscale? It's a little hard because a lot of people are like, I know my team is good now, right, but you always know you could be better.
Absolutely.
So how do you know, how do you play the puzzle pieces for that?
So I just had an undying thirst of growth. You know, ever since I was little, my first business I ever had was at 7 years old, you know? And that's because my parents always kind of taught us to have your own things, to like not be satisfied with what you have, but they were very ambitious too. And I think that was one of the biggest gifts that I was given. And so, yeah, when I started, it was just, you know, an 8-unit complex. But I sold that and I was like, what else can I do? What else can I do? How big can I go? How big can I go? How fast can I do it too? How many mistakes can I avoid making, right?
Yeah.
And so it's that mentality that was ingrained on me from when I was little that actually was the catalyst to my growth.
I love that because a lot of people, they're rooted in the faith, and I like uncovering where that faith comes from, because
Sure.
you'd be surprised the different stories you hear. I know you're excited about getting new projects. How do you go about getting new projects? I know some people go to tax sales. What advice do you have people that are trying to get into commercial real estate? How to go about getting those relationships built, and is your network really that important?
Yeah, that's a great question, and you can't really answer that question without answering the state of the market right now.
Another one I was going to ask you.
Yeah, so that goes in with it. Right now, I believe that deals are harder to get than when things were hot and then interest rates were low. There seems to be a divide between buyers and sellers. Sellers still believe that their properties are worth more,
correct,
while buyers look at the cost, say, I can't afford that, so I have to punch lower, right? And so now more than ever, it pays to be very creative in the way that you think about getting deals. And you literally cannot leave any stone unturned. So you have to look at, you have to drive around, look at deals. You have to talk to this broker, make connections. You have to go online, get in social media, get in real estate groups, make more connections with brokers, with mortgage loan officers, with CPAs. Anything you can do in order to get a deal, because that's what's actually going to get you that unique deal that very few, if anybody, has looked at all. And then when you do find that, obviously know how to execute. That's correct. Important. If you do find a deal that you really like that's already been picked over by a bunch of people in the market, what kind of fresh take do you bring to that
deal? To
that deal, yeah. So for me, it was, for example, splitting units, or making, instead of making a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, or something like that, like bringing more bedrooms. So it's the creativeness of somebody that's looking at the deal that really makes a difference. I have bought plenty of deals that I have now that have been peeked over by everyone in the market. And I did so, I bought them because I brought a fresh take. I said, this is not a fourplex. Yeah. Nobody needs 1,000 square feet unit in Montrose. Correct. Let's make that 2 different units that are 500 square foot apiece, and then make that 4-plex into an 8-plex. And then the numbers made sense, So for me, I guess one of the biggest advice that I
The
can
one
give
that's next to
people,
Cuchara?
the one that's next to Uchara, but that's not the only one. There's one that I have that's next to U of H.
Yeah.
There's another one that I made, but 2 bedrooms, 2 baths that are all very close to U of H as well. I've done that in a lot of places, in Northside as well. And I like to do that now. That's what I did with my 100-unit apartment complex as well, you know. And so creativeness in rehabbing, creativeness in deal structuring, creativeness in finding deals, those are very important. That I am a huge fan of creativeness, you know.
Thinking outside the box.
Thinking outside the box and being that person, that investor with the edge above everybody else.
I like that you said that. And it's important to me for people to understand that it doesn't happen overnight. It is something that takes a process. And it is that you might have to follow up with that deal for a year or for 6 months, and you're following up with a seller, or you're following up with the potential realtor, and you're trying to get it negotiated. I want people to know that it doesn't happen as easily as they imagine, and not to give up so quickly. Was there ever a moment where you were like, I'm defeated, I can't do this, I want to give up? And if so, give advice to how to inspire people, and had you given up, you wouldn't be where you are at today.
Absolutely. I mean, we've all had those moments where we're just like, man, I can just quit and I can just go do something else and go get a job. I can go and do anything else except for this.
Else, you're Leo.
Thank you. I have actually 10 years of corporate experience, so I already know how that goes, and it was not for me.
I hate
God
it.
bless people who can do it every day. That's great. Not for me. But that was always kind of like, man, I can just do something else. I was just offered a job for $1 million a year, and I was like, nah, I'm
and now you're filling up classrooms, and people are asking you for advice, right?
Yeah. So it's the perseverance of things. It's looking long term, you know. Experience in the market. I have now close to 13 years experience in this market, in the real estate industry. And if I look back and I sum up all of the bad experiences and all of the times of stress that I've had, and the outcome of what happened in that scenario, it was always not that bad. Like, it was something that I always dealt with. Even if it was expensive and I lost money or something like that, that outcome wasn't as bad as my anxiety or my stress that I had before it happened.
So are you learning to tame that now?
So now I'm learning, hey man, it's a trend. You know, it's like I get stressed, I get anxious, and then the thing happens and it's really not as bad as I thought, you know? So it's looking long term and looking back as well. So looking forward and looking back into your experience in the industry, and relying on others like me. I mean, obviously, if you're starting out, you don't have a lot of experience. But when I tell you that there are trends to life, there are trends in this industry where it matters how much you know. So education makes all the difference. If you're educated, you can figure out a way out of a problem. And the more stressed you are, the more you should educate yourself on ways out of that problem, you know?
Yes.
So that way you can look back and look forward and say, okay, well, I'm anxious about losing money. I'm anxious that this deal is not going to go through. What else can I do? Again, creativeness, right? Taking what you've learned in the past and taking what you've, what you want to learn in the future, your goals, and then adding it all up and dealing with a situation that otherwise may be very stressful, may make all the difference in the world. And it can get your mental state out of that kind of depressed state or stressed state.
I know. I think every business owner, I think that's why we choose to take like getaway trips. At least I have to, because you're under so much stress. You're providing for families. You have to come up with the answer. Everyone's looking at you. It's you. And I know you're a first-time generation, so you're also learning. There wasn't too much of a blueprint for us, because no one's built a business to the caliber that you've had it to. You know what I mean? So it's hard for people to realize that, hey, we're human. Like, we need moments to retreat. We need moments to get to know ourselves, to come back with brighter ideas. Every time I go to the beach, I kid you not, I come back so refreshed. I come back with new ideas. I come back energized. And I guess because I'm an island girl, I just keep going back to the beach because it's my retreat.
Right.
Where do you retreat for your mental health, for you to get away? I know you travel a lot.
I do travel a lot. I'm the same way. But you can't always travel, right? You have to be
Right.
somewhere tomorrow morning at 8 and it's 6 p.m. the night before. And you can't really take, I mean, you could, I guess, go to Galveston, but that's not.
So what's your happy place? Mine is my
So
backyard.
mine is, I like to disconnect. I'm a huge fan of disconnecting. You have to disconnect your mind in order to push a better product, you know, in order to actually give a better result to somebody else, to your team, to yourself. You have to disconnect, come back with a fresh mind, and you will find better answers to that problem that you're dealing with. And so I would say, for me, it's probably movies, spending time with family,
Movies?
sports. Yeah, I'm a huge cinemaphile.
Cinema fan?
Yeah.
So
Huge movie fan.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, and so for me, it would be probably movies or obviously sports, working out, playing soccer,
I know
playing
you play
sports.
soccer.
Yeah.
And you've been playing for how long, since you were little?
I've been playing since I was little. I'm not any good. Probably worse than I was when I was a kid.
I'm probably bad myself. I know my kids play.
But hey, it's all about the actual sport of the thing, you know? And I've actually made good friends doing it too, so that matters.
I love that you mentioned friends, because I know when you're moving, up and your friends around you are very important. Can you talk about how sometimes you do, you might keep the same friends and there's a couple of friends that will stay your friends, but if your mindset is changing and you're moving towards a new healthy mindset, positive energy, what advice do you give people to, or what can you tell them in regards to letting go of relationships that you no longer need and being okay with it and not, dwelling yourself too much on letting go of those relationships and being okay with cultivating new friends and people that are going to put you in that positive space realm.
Right. Yeah. I'd say that's a very good question, and I think part of being an adult, part of being a professional, you kind of have to learn to let go of those relationships sometimes, even though you may seem at first like you're going to be friends forever. And I know that some things happen and it doesn't turn out that way, and you have to be okay with it and know that unfortunately, the higher you climb, the lonelier it is.
That's what I wanted to touch.
I mean, yes, you see Drake, you see all the celebrities with huge entourages and crowds. How many people do you think would actually take a bullet for the guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or how many people do you think are actually like his childhood friends? I think very few.
Very few, correct.
Yeah, so very few of them will be there. But you have to kind of make sure that you put yourself and your family at first before you kind of sell out to ideals just because a friend is doing it, just because somebody else wants you to do it. And another thing is just don't lend people money. Yeah. Lending people money
yes, don't lend people money. That's a big no for friendship.
Yeah.
I don't advise it. I don't even... Okay, so talking about friends, do you do business with friends?
I do business with friends. So
you don't lend money, but you will make money with friends.
I would love making money with friends.
Okay,
making money with friends is amazing. I have some very good friends that I make money with. My own partner is my fraternity brother. I've known him for close to, maybe 12 years, 12, 13 years. I know that. And he's great. He's an amazing workhorse, and he's very indispensable to our company and to our growth. Well, Otto is also in the mix, but I'm talking about William. Otto is also a very good friend of mine, and I've known him since college. Very hard worker, very dedicated to his family and his friends and stuff like that. So
it's funny because I met everyone. He just got married at the wedding in Florida, and it was so beautiful. So how was that magical moment? Were you nervous? I've always wanted to ask you, were you nervous?
No, I wasn't really nervous. I kind of wanted it to happen, and it was just the planning of it was just so stressful.
That's what I always wanted to ask a man's version of the planning.
Yeah, I pretty much planned a lot of it, if not everything. And, it wasn't perfect. Nothing in life is perfect.
I think it was perfect. You came out to Star Wars. Like, how much more perfect can it
true.
be?
I'm a huge fan.
It was an epic moment.
Yes, but I wasn't. And, it turned out to be pretty nice. And my end result was the honeymoon, which was kind of like my big payoff.
I love that. So how long did y'all get away, and how many countries did y'all visit?
2 months, almost 2 months, 19 countries.
I haven't even gone to that many. What country have you not visited? Better question.
We were
because
talking
it's
about it
famous.
before the film, but Greece. I've never been to Greece.
Greece? Oh my God. Okay, Greece.
Yeah.
That's the only.
Well, no,
any
I've
other
been
one?
to. I've only been to like maybe 55 countries, so and there's 146 out there. So
But you've been to almost every continent. I saw that on your
yes,
Instagram.
yeah, except for Antarctica. Yes.
I wasn't stalking. I was just watching.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I've been to all these continents. That's a good bucket list. So I know you love making money with friends. I know you also have your brother who's running. I'm so proud of the family and with the energy you've cultivated. And although you might not think so, I think a lot of men in real estate look up to you. And I
you.
see them all always admiring you. What advice do you have any newcomers coming into real estate that started in residential but might want to go the commercial route? Do you have classes maybe they could sign up for or any information you want to provide for them?
Absolutely. So we have made an online university for commercial real estate.
I'm so proud.
Thank you.
And you're
Appreciate it.
announcing it with me?
I've
be.
had it. So you're not stalking hard enough. That's
Damn.
what happens.
Damn, I
So
haven't
CREU, C-R-E-U is the name, Commercial Real Estate University, and you can check it out, creu.online. And it's my actual course. You get a lot because you get my actual course. You get the group of students that I've had. You get access to me, ask me questions. You get any videos that I've made in the past, any podcasts and stuff like that. And so we've added a lot of value to it. And yeah, I'm excited about it.
I know. And then also, I know that you do in person though, or you're not doing those no more.
I'm not doing those, unfortunately, anymore.
Okay. So just strictly online?
Just strictly online. So we're just filming stuff to add to the university.
Oh, that's nice.
And just keep on adding value. Because what I found is like not everyone can make
Correct.
the like on-person classes, and then I just kind of miss
But
on the
you
value.
can reach a whole target of people that do want to learn
Exactly.
online.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I'm gonna take the class.
Do it.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. You want to give me a discount? 'Cause
Sure.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Just for tuning in.
I'm back to the traveling because I'm a travel girl. What is your favorite destination?
My favorite, it depends on the mood, right? I'm also an island boy, even though I was born in a big city and I've always been in a big city. But I think the last place that I visited was Bora Bora, and that place was like nothing else on earth.
Really?
Yeah.
The one with
beautiful.
the little fishies underneath the
The
water?
one exactly with the overwater bungalows.
Where Kim Kardashian and all of them stayed at?
Yeah, I guess.
No, the girls will understand. The
Yeah,
girls will understand.
I
in the
got you.
TikTok.
Very beautiful, expensive,
What was your
but very
favorite
beautiful.
What was your favorite part?
Obviously, spending time with my new wife. That was amazing. Spending time with Steph. I mean, she's my world, and so yeah, just relaxing there in that environment with her was amazing.
I know you also went to New Zealand, right?
We only had a stopover in New Zealand, but we went to Australia.
Australia.
Yeah,
I practiced my accent for this moment.
go for it.
Just kidding.
Now it's your big chance.
I'm so kidding. It was my moment to shine. Hello there, mate. Don't judge me. Don't
Somebody
judge me.
watched
Luis.
Steve Irwin. All right, that's good.
Okay, but I tried. But did you like Australia? Because I had a lot of people that are actually coming over to Texas from Australia in my closing that have tried to invest more over here. How's the real estate over there? Do you check real estate in every other country? Because I know you have an Airbnb too.
Yeah, I have one in London.
In
England.
London.
Yeah. It's real estate in Australia. I think it was very expensive from what I saw, and just like any big city, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to go there and live there, so the real estate becomes very expensive. I love England. I did my master's degree out there.
You did?
And so yeah,
How many
I want to
years
buy
is
more.
that? 4, right?
I spent a year and a half
Year
out
and a
there. Yeah,
Oh my God, in London?
in London. Yeah.
So you got to be like Emily in Paris, but it was Boris in London.
Boris in London instead of Emily in Paris. Yeah, imagine that.
Really? And did you like the culture? Okay, so why Airbnb?
Well, I mean, Airbnb out there is very popular. I think it's probably one of the highest trafficked cities in the world. Okay. It attracts thousands of visitors, millions of visitors a year. And when I lived there, it was next to impossible to actually find reliable housing and cheap housing. And so I always thought I wanted to be a part of that. And now I bought a house out there, and I'm actually going next week to see if I can buy some more.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at the chances of me mentioning that. I'm sending you good luck so you get a good property, maybe a multifamily, who knows?
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, so have you done Airbnb here in Houston?
I have. I don't like it much.
No?
Yeah, I don't like it, and I think it's because Houston has yet to just kind of rank high among tourists. I think the vast majority of locals will rent Airbnbs as a staycation kind of thing.
Right? That's what I noticed too. Like if you get them on the outskirts, like I saw this one Airbnb that was like a wilderness, but it was out in Umbo, and I was like, you would think you were like in South Dakota or something.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of staycationers that actually will rent, but I think there needs to be more regulation of Airbnb. I think anybody can start an Airbnb right now, and it's the competition is fierce, and it's pushing prices down to the point that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because I've seen some prices too where I'm like, well, why would you do that? Okay, but I get your point. So your route is more long-term investment versus short-term.
Yeah, for me, it's about appreciation.
Okay.
So commercial real estate relies on rents, especially multifamily. So the longer that we rent, the higher that we rent for,
The better.
and the more stable the tenant, the stronger that value is going to be for that property, right?
What are you seeing interest rates at right now?
Interest rates are in
the
the
commercial
sevens and
side.
eights, sevens
So
at
that's
least.
that's not bad for a commercial side.
Eh,
I mean, it
it's
used
not
to
three.
be.
It's not what it used to
Yeah,
be,
it's not what it used
you know?
to be. I mean, back then it was an amazing time to buy.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of going into a shopping center?
Yeah, I have owned shopping centers before.
Because I know you got also
Storage.
Storage.
So right now I have about 480 units of multifamily and another
I didn't want to
250 of
ask you
storage.
because I was like, do I ask someone?
Yeah, of
Can you
course.
ask people their units? Because I see it on TikTok.
I think so.
Okay, how many
Yeah.
units? Hold on, I've prepared
So
my
it's
whole life.
483 of multifamily and 250 of storage. And so I've, I want to amass more. But for me,
That's a
now
lot of
going back to
700.
what you first asked about I don't believe in BRR.
Yeah.
I don't believe in holding it forever.
Okay.
I believe in actually selling some and keeping some.
Okay.
Hence my method, KSSSS, keep some, sell some, scale. It's all about scaling. I don't like the BRR method because, especially for residential, it's too slow. You don't make enough money, and cash flow is very not reliable. It's very unreliable when it comes to small properties. I think unless you are very low, your
margins
debt
aren't-
on each property is low. I would say 50% or less. You're probably not going to cash flow in the property.
That's what I keep telling people because I've seen some of these houses that people rehab. And mind you, I'm looking and they're sitting on HAR 100 days. So for those 100 days, guess who's paying that mortgage? It's them. Are you going to refi? Are you going to rent it? What are you going to do now? Because everyone's doing the same cookie cutter, like, white on the outside, black in trims, whatever is on HGTV. But then you have these properties that I'm seeing sitting out here. And it's like, okay, at that caliber, are you really making money or not? And then some of these people go into foreclosure.
Exactly.
Like rehabbing a property. How do you do that? I think people don't understand how important it is to run their numbers. And I know there's calculators people sell online, but I really think there's a margin. You should keep it 70 and under and not go over that 70%. But sometimes I see these investors just outbidding because they don't know what they're doing. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this house is not even worth it, And it's sad, but if you're not educated, you'll go down that path of you're going to end up either in foreclosure or your property's going to sit and you're going to have to figure out another exit strategy with your realtor because you're not going to sell. So I think your method provides a new fresh start for investors that have that money. And I have tons of investors that are excited and ready and they're looking either to build because it's a tax write-off or they're looking to invest in multifamily now. And I think that's the new wave that's coming about, and you caught the curve ahead of it getting there,
I think so too. And I'm kind of glad that I'm not in residential anymore, just because there is so much competition and because it just doesn't make sense in the valuation. Kind of like in the way I explained, commercial valuation is way different. And so for me, I would much prefer to, if I'm going to sell a property, I want to make cash flow, or I want to make rents, income while I try to sell it. And so that alone actually is why people should go to commercial. Never mind obviously the forced appreciation and everything like that. But it's a field that even now is less played than residential. And I think it's about solving the issues such as financing and rehabbing it and everything
Correct,
like that.
'cause
Once
they
you
don't know
have
how
those
to
lined
get
up,
that.
you're golden.
And you provide that for them too,
Yes.
the financing. So you do it in-house as well?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
do that in-house.
So
Absolutely.
he'll provide a whole package for you, ready to go for any investment properties that he has on his website available, and run the numbers. And I think it's important that people know rents are always going to go up. We're in Houston right now. Like it's gone up ridiculous. A one bedroom is what, 1,000,
Depends on where you
200?
are. I mean, rents could go down, but I think Houston is a very resilient city.
Yeah.
I think that it's even if they go down, they probably won't go down by much. Not as much as other cities that just kind of seem to be going all over the place. And so Houston has a very bright future. I think it's a great place to do business. And so, yeah, it's getting more dense. Houston will be more dense. It'll
Did you
probably
see all the
become.
projects that they're doing?
Yeah,
It's
yeah. More people are
ridiculous.
moving to Houston, and so rents will probably steadily go up.
That's what I was saying. They'll
Probably in
keep
a
going.
zigzag motion all the way up, right? And so it is a very great city to actually invest your money in.
Okay. Thank you guys. And that was all for our investing. I didn't want to get too much because I want y'all to check out his course and be able to DM him. And we're going to end this as I always do. What is one of your favorite quotes?
My favorite quote is probably one that I have in my office. I have in my phone. It's by Andrew Carnegie. 90% of all millionaires become so through owning real estate. More money has been made in real estate than in all industrial investments combined. The wise young person or wage earner of today is wise to spend their money in real estate. And he's actually talking about commercial real estate.
Yeah.
Because he was not a huge residential guy. He was more commercial and industrial.
Yeah, he's like Warner. I'm getting more into the commercial side, so you might see me investing with you shortly.
Sounds good.
Thank you guys. As always, this is my podcast, Faith Over Fear. We're going to check out, what is your Instagram, Boris, for everyone to be able to reach you?
At Sanmore1.
Good. There's no other one but that one. And
That's
then
right.
what is Sanmore's Instagram?
At Sanmore_investments.
Thank you guys. As always, check out. Have a good day.
Thank you.